There are very few cars sold in Canada that are not sold in the US. On this edition of Test Drive, the latest vehicle to join that very short list. This is the Chevrolet Orlando. The list of cars that are unique to Canada has held some good ones like the Acura EL and Toyota Echo, as well as some real dogs. One only has to look back at the bad old days when the Ladas and Skodas of this world were using Canada as a launch point to the United States. The Orlando, which is another product from GM Daewoo and is heavily based on the Chevrolet Cruze, rides a fine line. It is large enough to accommodate 7 riders realistically, yet small enough to be a city-friendly conveyance. This Orlando really is an either-or proposition. With all of the seats up, you can carry 7 people. However, there's virtually no luggage space left. However, if cargo's the order of the day, very simple. Simply drop all of the seats down flat. You end up with a nice flat floor, 1,594 litres of cargo space that's all nicely squared off. So what you see is what you get. The Orlando is powered by GM's 2.4-litre Ecotec engine. The use of direct injection and variable valve timing sees it twist out 174 horsepower and 171 pound-feet of torque. In this application, the available oomph is up to the task of ferrying a couple of riders around with the desired punch. From a standstill, the Orlando runs to 100k in 10.4 seconds and accomplishes the more important passing move in 7 seconds flat. The only nit has to do with the noise the engine makes when it's pushed to the max. Thankfully, this is an infrequent occurrence. Where this engine shows a bit of a weakness is if you use the Orlando to capacity. Put 7 people in it and it gets a little sluggish. That's where the turbocharged torque of GM's 2-litre engine would really pay big dividends. The power is fired to the front wheels through a 6-speed automatic transmission that's typically GM, smooth and refined. There is a manual mode, but given the Orlando's station in life, it's not likely to see much use. In somewhat of an unusual move, the Orlando is also offered with a manual transmission. It begs the obvious question: why? This is not a speedster where stirring one's own gears amps up the fun. It's a utility vehicle that keys on its multi-passenger ability. The cabin of the Orlando is well conceived. However, there's one thing I don't like and 2 that I very much do. What I don't like are the plastics. It's not so much the quality, it's the fact that some are textured, some are not. There's piano black, titanium and chrome. There's no sort of symmetry to the layout. The other things that I do like, however, there's one button that locks out the rear windows and it engages the child-proof rear door locks. Now, somebody was obviously thinking. Now, on the subject of thinking, this part is very clever indeed. Behind the radio faceplate, lo and behold, there's a USB, perfect for an iPod. The beauty of the design, it's hidden. The Orlando's ride and handling characteristics are surprisingly good. Unlike so many 7-passenger rides, the suspension has a planted feel that limits body roll as well as it does cushion the ride. Likewise, the steering delivers great feedback and it's nicely weighted across a broad speed range. Likewise, the brakes are up to the task of hauling the Orlando from speed without fading into oblivion, and this holds true when there's a full complement of riders aboard. Finally, a multi-passenger vehicle that does not bore the driver to death. Cast your mind back to the mid-90s and the Honda Odyssey failed because of its size. Fast forward to today and times and tastes are changing. So much so, this Orlando is likely to succeed because of its size. It's got plenty of utility, room for 7, a ton of cargo space, and yet it's easy when it's time to fill up at the pump.